Welcome to Ohio Air Gun Shooter, Walther. Today we have the Walther CP88 by UMAREX. This is a 177 caliber CO2 8-shot pellet pistol. It shoots these 8-shot cylinder revolver style magazines. It is a non-blowback CO2 pistol. This is the blued version with the wood, all wood, natural wood grips. And in this video, we're going to just be doing some crony testing. I had a viewer ask how many joules we were getting with this pistol. So today we're going to try to find out. We're going to start out with some RWS hobby pellets. They come in at 7 grains. And we're going to try these Meister Cooligan. These are flat node. They're 8.2 grain. And then we're going to try these H&N Cro Magnum. They are coming in at 8.80 grains. And then we'll go to the Craftsman Premier. They come in at 10.5 grains. And then we'll use these H&M Barracuda. They come in at 10.65 grains. They're also known as the Beeman Kodiaks. And then I will be using these UMAREX brand 12 gram CO2 cartridges with a drop of Craftsman Pel Gun oil on each. I will be using a fresh CO2 for each round of shots. I'm going to take and weigh a few of these pellets to see exactly what weights we are getting. For these pellets, well, these are the hobbies. These will be in grains. And I will weigh a few of each to see kind of what kind of weights we're getting with these. As an air gunner, I very much recommend having a scale such as this to weigh your pellets. That way you kind of have an idea of the pellet weights. That way you kind of get an idea of your velocity numbers, because differences in pellet weight will affect velocity numbers. So I'm just going to weigh a few of each pellet to kind of see what kind of weight each of them are. Again, these are in grains, not grams. All of these pellets are made of lead. I do not have any 177 alloy pellets. So right now, the hobbies, the RWS hobbies, are probably the lightest lead pellet that I currently have in my stock. So we'll most likely we'll start with the lightest pellet, and then we'll work our way up to the heaviest. Surprisingly, the Craftsman Premiers were pretty much right on. They were coming in right at 10.5 grains. So good job, Craftsman, and their QC. One thing that can affect the weight of these pellets is that you may have fragments of lead within the skirt area, which may add a little bit of weight to the pellet. I often forget to look inside the skirts as I'm weighing these to see if there's any type of fragments from any type of lead within the skirts. To access the CO2 cartridge compartment, you just depress this button from the right side, which pops out the left side wood grip. And then you just kind of twist down the brass piece there. Well, first you got to flip down that little lever, and then you can, which will allow you to twist down the brass piece. That way you can insert the CO2 cartridge, and then you can twist it back up to get a nice tight fit before you push the piercing lever back up. Pretty much all you got to do is get it nicely snug up against the bottom of the CO2 cartridge, and that pretty much works. Then you just push that up. You can do it with or without the grip installed. Just like that, the CO2 cartridge has been pierced, and you are now ready to load it with a cylinder of pellets. To load it, you just simply depress that lever and the front slide will pop open, and then you install the revolver style cylinder. Make sure the notches are towards the rear, otherwise it will not index. When you load pellets into these magazines, be sure to do it from the rear forward. So what you want to do is push each pellet in from the back of the cylinder towards the front. Once they are all loaded, you want to make sure that nothing is sticking out the front or the rear. I usually like to seat them just enough to where everything is flush. I use this plastic pick that I have, and when I push them in, you can kind of feel just a little bit of a snap for each one, and it kind of tells you that they're in place and they're seated well. As you can see here, there's no pellets protruding out the front of the magazine. Anything sticking out the front or the rear will cause the cylinder magazine to not index, which leads to jams. For velocity, I will be using my X-Radar chronograph. It reads up to 698 feet per second, and I doubt very much that we'll even get close to that. I will be using a cardboard box filled with plastic shopping bags in front of another cardboard box filled with plastic shopping bags, and there's also a piece of about a 1/4 inch plywood inside of that box to help with stopping any type of pellets, projectiles from going through. First 8 shots will be of the RWS Hobbies. They are a 7-grain lead flat-nosed pellet. I will be shooting each round of shots using single action, which is pulling the hammer back with my thumb and then squeezing the trigger. First shot, fresh CO2, 410 feet per second. Second shot, 406 feet per second. That one dropped to 388 feet per second. 370 feet per second. 368 feet per second. 360 feet per second. 356 feet per second. And 350 feet per second. Just as a note, this is an indoor shooting environment, and the current temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit. For the next round of shots, I inserted a fresh CO2 cartridge, and we will be using the H&N Crow Magnum. I omitted the RWS Meisterklugen because weight-wise they're similar to the Crow Magnums, and as I was already shooting the Hobby flat nose, I didn't see any reason to shoot the Meisterklugen flat nose, so we just went to the Crow Mags. Uh, 344 feet per second. That's the second shot. 328 feet per second. That's a very low drop, or a very big drop. 318 feet per second. 302 feet per second. That one dropped to under 300 to 298 feet per second. 288. So the heavier pellets definitely lower the velocity. I mean, different factors are involved. I mean, time between shots due to the CO2 cooling down the internals. Next, we'll try the 10.5 grain Crossman Premiers. These are domed. UK viewers, what joules are you allowed? 300 feet per second. 294 feet per second. 290 feet per second. 282 feet per second. That dropped down 10 to 272 feet per second. Now, there is a competition version of this, CP88. Next up, we'll shoot the H&N Barracudas. Again, a fresh CO2. 8 shots, single action. These are the heaviest. (320 feet per second). 300 feet per second. 284 feet per second. 282 feet per second. 274 feet per second. Another 274 feet per second. And then 268 feet per second. Now, there is a competition version of this, if it's still available, with a longer barrel, which would raise your FPS. Using the same CO2 cartridge, I'm going to use these Crossman Premiers. These are the 10.5 grain, and I'm going to shoot 8 rounds double action. And I'm just curious as to see what kind of difference we have in velocity in double action. 286 feet per second. 278 feet per second. 274 feet per second. 270 feet per second. 272 feet per second. 268. 260. 262. So in double action, it seemed to level off a bit, a little bit more consistency. It clearly doesn't have a lot of energy, which makes it a very good backyard blinker. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.